an article about WWE. The topic of some wrestlers have plans to get on OnlyFans once they leave WWE. And I know in this article, they specifically quote you that you're basically the pioneer, kind of the woman to copy the blueprint.
Well, I mean, technically I am the blueprint for this. I wouldn't even say copy because no one else did it before me.
He says Mandy Rose changed the game completely.
Yes.
That's one of the quotes.
Tell the people. I don't think a lot of athletes or entrepreneurs or, professional wrestlers or whatever it may be realize what they're worth while they're in it. Yeah, you can make good money while you're there, but then you make more money when you're out of there, when you're done with it, believe it or not. I felt bad for you.
You felt bad for me?
I watch him.
You felt bad for me.
I watch him, guys. I watched this good looking stud, put up lights and then he saw his first cockroach and he was like, oh my God. And then we had to clean the rings in NXT because there was a herpes outbreak, guys. I don't even know if everyone knows that one.
Welcome to another episode of Power Alphas. I'm one of your co-hosts, as always, Sabby Piscatelli, and my beautiful, beautiful wife, Amanda Piscatelli. How you doing today, baby?
Doing great. Welcome, everyone, to another episode. We're back in a new studio.
I'm really liking this studio.
Me too.
I like it a lot.
Stanford. Because as you guys know, we are up in New York for the summer, so we're grateful that we found a great studio. Really loving this vibe. If we were to make our own studio in our house, babe, I feel like I would go
This was the vibe.
Very similar with this.
This is the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it's really nice.
It is really nice. Well, exciting. Our kitchen is done.
Almost.
Almost.
It's almost one of those projects
the
where
backsplash comes up tomorrow, but other than that, it's about it.
It feels like it's something where it's there's always going to be a little something which I hope not, but yeah.
There is. There's going to be a little something, but
No,
for the most part, everything's going to be done tomorrow.
Yeah, we had a little get together for my mom's birthday, and I don't know, babe. I think I did a good job with picking out what I picked out because I got a lot of compliments.
Guys, make sure you compliment your wife 100 times on how good she does something, because I think I've done 110 and she still wants more.
No, I don't want more at all. I don't think we realize what goes into designing a kitchen when you're not an interior decorator.
No,
Clearly,
honestly,
that's not on my resume, and I didn't have one. For helping me. So I feel like I will say I'm actually pretty proud of what I accomplished. But for anyone out there that's in this process, Instagram has been my savior when it comes to this, because the women that do know their stuff and post about it, it's so helpful because they post the links and they post the exact color of what goes good with this stain, and so that's where I got most of the information from.
Well, that is the beautiful thing about social media, but don't take yourself discredit. You did a really good job. Honestly,
I did, but I was also rolling
a job not
the
even
dice.
being there either.
Well, that's the
you
thing.
weren't there.
Yeah.
We weren't, we did see the Taj Mahal in person, but before that, you didn't see a lot of these colors in person.
No, I didn't see the cabinets in person.
And you did a really good job of putting all these color combinations together. I give it
I
to you,
don't know,
babe.
maybe
You cheated a little bit on Instagram, but it's okay.
Yeah, but maybe I'll, start a little side hustle.
Side hustle?
Social media. Maybe I can be
Well, you
I can
enjoyed
start. I actually kind of did.
No,
I
you
did
did.
enjoy it. It was
You
actually
did.
kind of fun.
You did.
It's cool to see the process, obviously, and then when it's all said and done and everything's close together, it's oh wow, this is the work is all the hard work was worth it. So it's cool.
And honestly, I did not realize how much work actually goes into something like this.
No,
all,
you didn't
the
at all.
tedious things. And even the last month and a half that we've been up here, you think the majority of it is done until you get up here, and it's just so many little tiny things, putting up the crown molding and then putting up the panel. It's just crazy, little things that takes a lot of time that you don't realize how much work really goes into a project like this.
Yeah, I thought
so I was
that.
surprised. I was even though they started in January and just got done now in August, but there was a lot of little things I think that we don't take accountable. We don't take accountability for it. We don't actually take what actually goes into everything. But
we're not in that business.
I'm not,
so I feel
exactly. So
when you're not in that business, even me and you were we just have the install left, but when it came to money wise, you're well, why are we? It's well, actually, you kind of look at everything and you're oh, that's why, because there's so much detail that goes into finishing the actual project. So we're excited for that. I'll show you guys all the finished pictures and all the up to date when it's all said and done, because I can't wait till that backsplash goes in. But a couple exciting things going on in the news this week. They just announced UFC's new deal with
huge. No,
I'm getting mixed up with WWE.
With CBS and Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Okay.
7 years, $7.7 billion.
That's crazy.
Which is absolutely insane. I think UFC's last deal total was like 1.7 billion total.
Really?
So I think they've really grown incredibly. I mean, think about it. They're 7.7 billion for 7 years, so they're getting like about a 1.7 a year. And there's no more pay-per-views. I think that's the kicker.
That's interesting.
There's no more pay-per-views. Now it's a monthly subscription. I think it's $13.99.
But they also said all numbered events will be on CBS for free. What does that mean?
No, so like, they had something where it was like Fight Night was on ESPN. And then they had obviously a pay-per-view once a month.
Right.
Like a big, UFC 300, UFC 301. So I don't know the exact things. I'm reading about it just like you were. So it's Paramount Plus, I think, will show all like the UFC events that were used to be a pay-per-view. Now they're all just going to be...
So like the older ones?
Yeah, but you got to get a monthly subscription now.
Yeah,
But I think the monthly
sense.
subscription gets you everything. It gets you the pay-per-views, it gets you Fight Night, it gets you all the access that it would get you just being maybe a member. Like, WWE started that years ago when they did the whole WWE, subscription-based website.
Yeah, no, I get that,
Vince was the first person to take away the pay-per-views, which is actually ridiculous. When you actually think when Vince did it, that's why people call Vince just a genius mastermind when it comes to business. That was his number one revenue stream. Yeah. Revenue stream was pay-per-views. And he actually went into a room and said we're taking it away, and everyone panicked.
Yeah.
But he created something way bigger. And I think UFC has copied that model, now Paramount Plus and Peacock. They all do that stuff now. But I'm excited to see it because...
it's going to be interesting when it comes to paying, though, too. Like Jake Paul said something about that, like know your worth, boys and girls, or whatever, because knowing that how much money is on the table.
Well, now they know, because now it's public knowledge. So now every fighter knows that they got $7.7 billion for 7 years. So it's going to be interesting to see how they structure the fighting contract, the fighters' contracts. But actually, the one thing that came up to me that I would like to ask, one of my best friends, Rashad Evans, who was champion in the UFC. Usually the champion gets pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
He gets a pay-per-view point system where they get bonuses versus how much they sell. So a guy like John Jones, right? Very the GOAT, and they say when he has on pay-per-view, it sells. When Conor McGregor's on pay-per-view, it sells. So I wonder how they're going to structure these champions, per se, their pay-per-view points, because that's where a lot of these guys used to make their big bonuses. And that was kind of an incentive to be a champion. Well, okay, when I'm champion, I'm able to make a lot more money because I'm going to get a cut of the pay-per-view buys. So I wonder how they're going to structure that into like the championship guys' deals.
That should be interesting to see.
It is going to be interesting.
And then previously, which was like last week, the other news with WWE, now Disney, I think it's Disney's ESPN has secured a $1.6 billion 5-year deal with WWE for exclusive U.S. streaming rights to WWE's premium live events, which includes WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, all those starting in 2026. Which I've always heard things that like eventually Disney was where WWE was always going to be was like part of Disney. I always heard that, but I was like, I wasn't sure if that was ever going to be a thing. But it's interesting, 1.6 billion. So UFC is actually worth more money than WWE? Or how does that work? Do you know?
Well, that's a good. Well, what was the contents of that deal, though? What was the structure?
5-year deal. Oh,
well, that's just the streaming rights, though.
Streaming rights, so it's different. Yeah,
it's a little different measuring stick.
I always wondered.
But
yeah,
UFC and WWE is all under TKO now,
right?
So it's kind of
now they're all one.
It's all one entity. It's all one enterprise. But yeah, no, that's actually an interesting question. Is what is worth more by itself?
I wonder,
WWE. Or I'm going to say WWE because WWE is worldwide more. Like it's I know UFC is making that push. UFC is definitely making that push to get more countries, and they got Dubai and all that stuff. But I don't know.
Now with Saudi Arabia, they go to Saudi Arabia. WWE goes to Saudi Arabia.
They both do. So.
Yeah, true.
But
I wonder. We'd have to Google that one.
I think the beauty thing is they're kind of running it together, like it's an entity. But speaking of articles, babe, I want to look at this article that it came out that you were like the headline of it. WWE wrote an article. I think it was
not WWE.
Not WWE. It was an article. Let me see.
Someone else wrote the article.
Oh, someone else wrote about WWE. It says the topic of some wrestlers have plans to get on OnlyFans once they leave WWE. And I know in this article they specifically quote you that you're basically the pioneer and the kind of the woman to copy the blueprint. Well, how do you feel about that? And what was your reaction about that? And I know you get a lot of questions about that. So first off, what was your reaction when you read this article?
Well, I mean, technically, I am the blueprint for this. I wouldn't even say copy because no one else did it before me.
No, it says that you are the blueprint.
Yeah,
you are the person who they want to copy and emulate now.
Right. So,
it actually says Mandy Rose changed the game completely.
Yes.
That's one of the quotes.
Tell the people. So,
oh, babe, you changed the game completely. So, how do you feel about that? And what is your message to these young, I like to call them young entrepreneurs in a sense that they are their own entity, right? We are 1099s. We are our own business. So what would you say out there to these women that they have a great platform? And what would your advice be to them now?
Well, knowing what I know now, and obviously, never had these intentions of I never had a plan that this was what I was going to get into, what I was going to, end up doing for a long time or whatever it may be. Nothing was planned, but knowing what I know now is the more I sit here and, dabble in the success that I've had. And obviously I'm very grateful for everything that, WWE, the platform and what it's presented, obviously my following and all that, and the following I had prior to WWE, but it just goes to show as a broad spectrum, mine's a little more specific, my story, but for anyone in sports and the whole NIL and where that has come to now, having, knowing that your name, image, and likeness is so powerful. I don't think a lot of athletes or entrepreneurs or, professional wrestlers or whatever it may be realize what they're worth while they're in it, because they're kind of under, they're not able to do everything that they want to do. They're growing. They're working to become, better every day, and they don't know the level of success they're going to get to. And obviously, in professional wrestling, it's a little different too, when you're kind of controlled a little bit more, and not really. There's not really a base off pure athleticism or pure you know what I mean. WWE's very. Very different when it comes to that. But in other sports too, I think it just goes to show that it's where we are today in today's day and age of social media and what you can do on social media and all the platforms. And it's not just, the subscription-based platforms that we use, but it's everything in general. So it's the biggest take home that I noticed with the other girls that I've helped, after WWE or after wrestling in general is that yeah, you make good money while you're there, but then you make more money when you're out of there, when you're done with it, believe it or not, because afterwards is where you are not under control of what you can and cannot do. You can do whatever you want, and you just you notice your worth then, because you're able to collect all the money that comes in and not give out all these percentages. I mean, obviously you have teams that help you with all these, but there's so many things involved. But now it's you're able to, I don't know, you see the girls, they're making way more money than they did when they were in WWE.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. When you are extremely successful in one category, it does open up a lot more doors if you play your cards correctly.
Right.
And I think what that article was even talking about was the world has changed in a sense of social media is so powerful these days. It's such a marketing tool to get any kind of career path that you want to go down. And the subscription-based platforms, just like we just talked about earlier in the show, that's what UFC is going to now, right? They're not doing pay-per-views. They're going to do subscription-based month-to-month platforms. And that's where that's where it is. So, these young women that I saw the article, and I think we go back and we've talked about this before. The women that are in WWE, they work their whole life to get there. So they think it's the pinnacle and the end-all, be-all. And it's not the end-all, be-all. It's an incredible opportunity to be in such an amazing organization. But also, it's a means to an end. It's going to end at one point. You just got to make sure that you, like you just said, your image, you market yourself correctly, where you can veer off into some other kind of categories and become very successful as your own entities, your own brand, because you did put a lot of work in making who you are in that industry. Just like you were big in the fitness world, then you were big in the WWE world, and all that has catapulted you to make money outside the ring and outside fitness because you grew such a big fan base with all your hard work and success. And I think it's a positive thing for these women to kind of look forward to, and not be a negative thing when they get released or their contract's up, because we all go through that depression when, oh my God, what's next? It's over. And I had the same thing in the NFL. I had the same thing when I got WWE as well. So it's something that it's refreshing when you see an article like that these women have big opportunities when they leave the industry.
Right. And I think it's kind of a good thing in a sense of lessening the bad stigma that like OnlyFans has, right? So I feel like everyone thinks right away when they hear it, like, oh, they think bad, right? And it's not bad. There's levels to everything, right? So there are crazy things that people do on there. And then there's things that, people have a direct relationship with their fans on there. And they're able to have this platform where the fans can feel like they are with you at all times and following you around and coming with you to the gym and coming to photo shoots and seeing them more behind the scenes, but it's just more exclusive. So OnlyFans has that bad stigma, but I think this is almost like, I'm hoping too, that like it's kind of steers away from that a little bit, because it's like, that's not really like, it's really for creators. Like we do, like OFTV now is becoming really big, and like we do videos for them.
Had a couple features on OFTV.
I had a couple features and
doing gymnastic stuff.
Yeah,
Ninja Warrior.
So it's just creating a platform that you're able to have this direct relation, but it's anything. There's other ones out there. There's passes, there's fan time, there's all these subscription-based platforms that, just because OnlyFans has this bad stigma because of the name, it's not
that's
always
just people that we talk about. That's just people talking shit and people being negative. But like you just said, you control the narrative. So you can do whatever you want to do, right? But here's the thing I just want to bring up, that you just said something that's very interesting to me. You just said it allows your fans behind the scenes, and they love that, right? Mm-hmm. What did WWE just come out with on Netflix like the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, the Unreal.
They came out, the behind the scenes, and there's actually old timers like Paul Heyman. I saw an interview. They don't like it because that wasn't the culture that they grew up in, right? But now they're pulling the curtain back and they're letting you behind the scenes in WWE. But why are they doing that? Because they see money in that. Of course. They see that fans want that, being connected to that. Yep. Just like at OnlyFans and just like Fan Time and all these other websites. It's not just the negative stigma of people, there's porn on there, there's nudity on there. Like, we know what you can hold the narrative, whatever you want to do or don't want to do. And the women have that control. And I think for your sake was the fan just wanted to get to know you.
Right.
And that's why you've done so well without going to parts that you did not feel comfortable going to.
Right. And as a creator, like, people want to sit there and be like, oh, well, you could just do that on Instagram. It's like, no, like it's a business, just like everybody else is out there, wants to make money, and it's a business. And at the end of the day, if we can charge a specific amount every month and have our fans who are in that circle be entitled to, have that exclusive right to be, with Mandy Rose and Mandy Sacs, whatever, and around me, and see, what I do on a daily basis, and see a little more exclusivity of things, like, why not have that? So I just feel like it's a great opportunity. But I wonder, like, with these articles that come out, because this article came out because basically Elena Black, also known as Cora Jade, released something that she was taking a break from wrestling. And I'm good friends with her, obviously. And I think people right away think, oh, she's taking a break from wrestling because she's probably doing so well on OnlyFans. Yeah, she's doing well on OnlyFans, but people don't realize the amount of, like, stress and, like, physical and mental stress that it puts on you, wrestling around, going to different shows and all that. And some people, they need a break. It's almost like they're attacking her right away. Like, oh, how much money are you making? And people are asking. It's like, that stuff gets annoying because nobody sees, what the real reason is why she's taking a break, instead of being like, oh, how are you doing? I hope your health is okay.
Maybe she needs a mental reset.
A break or a reset. Yeah.
So you know what, again,
but it's
kind of like we talked about before. Social media has made a lot of tough men and women that sit behind screens and talk shit all day. So that's why you can't even get caught up in all that.
No, you can't. But, that article was, kind of cool because it was like,
you're like the pioneer.
I'm the pioneer,
You are.
So you know where to go. You know where to go when that phone call comes. Because
call Mandy Rose.
I got it down. I got the blueprint. It sets you up. You'll be, multiplying your year contract in a month minimum. Trust me, I tell you that.
Well, good. I mean, good for them, and I hope all I hope all those athletes in WWE, entertainers, I hope they use their stage correctly and catapult themselves into the next part of their career. So, I'm excited for my next part of my career in the fitness world and inspiring in that aspect. So we all have things after our professional industry, which is people get excited about. So
yeah, and I think the biggest take home too is the fact that we aren't set up while we're there. We don't get benefits. We don't get a pension. And you just like any job, you work your whole life. in that job, and obviously you want to retire one day, you want to be set up with something. So, we don't have that. So if you're going to be in that company for a long time, you better hope you make a lot of money and save it or invest it or whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day, when you're done doing that, there's not many other things you can go and just pick up either when you're middle to late age. And, had plans to just do that your whole entire life. Like, so it gives it a good, good retirement as well for people that are out there that need to focus on something else as well.
It is. Well, congratulations on that cool article, babe. You should be
Thanks,
proud of that, babe. You should be proud of that article.
Cool. Me.
No, it's cool. It really
I'm humble.
Cool. It is cool.
But anyway, speaking of, you just brought up your next venture, babe. And I know you've been working behind the scenes with it all, and hopefully it'll be dropping soon and everyone will be able to experience it. But that kind of goes hand in hand of how much work things like this involve behind the scenes. I don't even know if you've realized how much work.
You know what? Once you start peeling back that onion, you're like, holy crap, there's a lot of parts here. And for me personally, I wanted to make sure I'm doing this 100% right. So I'm taking my time with it. I have a full team, website build out, app build out. And that is a lot of work. And I'm excited to drop it when everything's in line and in place, because I want this whole process to be smooth. I want it to be where people are excited about it. They're motivated every single day to wake up and train and become a better version of themselves. So for me, I'm just making sure that all my parts are in place for when I launch this, that I can give the best package I could offer to make, a man or a woman be the best version of themselves. And that's what I'm excited about. And it is a lot more work than I thought, in the sense of getting the behind the scenes going with the app and the website and all that stuff. But once it's all ready to go, it's going to be really exciting.
Once you get it going, it'll be easier. But the beginning parts are always like the setting things up like that. People don't realize how much things go into play.
Well, that's what people when you watch a business get run, or you see a business blow up or something. You're like, oh, that company just came out of nowhere. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They've been doing it for 10, 15, 10, 12 years before that. You just saw them, now blow up. So even with this company that I'm dropping, the Lifestyle Reset is going to be something that I'm passionate about, that I've kind of, my whole life has been driven by this mentality that I'm bringing. This is all organic. This is part of me. This is not, I'm not making any of this up. Everything I'm asking my clients to do, I already done, or I'm doing in the process of it every day to day. So for me, it's going to be something that's, I think it's something that I'm really excited to just help people improve of their mental and physical health. Yeah,
I love that. No, I'm excited. So I asked a few questions on Instagram earlier about, a little Q&A, because we love doing a Q&A on these episodes. So I'm going to read a couple that we got. And then I think you have a couple too, right, babe?
I do.
On yours. Let's see. Of course, my number one question, will you return to WWE? Do I need to answer that again? Okay. Oh my God, please go for short bob hair look again.
Short bob hair?
I
did look kind of cute though.
Yeah, but I think that ship has sailed. I don't know if I can go back to that. Okay, what's your favorite thing to do to help you relax? So, because I'm a very, we both are very outgoing people, and we're not really, I shouldn't say outgoing people. I feel like I'm kind of introverted, actually, to be honest.
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Meaning I should say active rather than outgoing. I'm a pretty active person. I like to work out, and I feel like I'm always doing things around the house, and I help out at my family business a lot. So what is my favorite thing to do to help me relax? Honestly, Sundays are our day. Yesterday was a little different. This week was a little different. It was my mom's birthday, so I went out. But Sundays are reset days. And my way of relaxing is I like to cook on Sundays. We like to make our Sunday sauce, but I also like to open up a bottle of red wine, and I like to sip on it while I cook, and then I like to sit and relax. So I usually make a little cheese board for us, and I don't know, I just, that kind of day, having a glass of wine and then having our pasta Sunday night and then relaxing on the couch and doing some things around the house, that's my level of relaxation.
Yeah, I think Sunday is that reset day.
It is.
It's almost like the reset day to get ready for the week for me.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you said, I like to do, our church in the morning. I like to do all my laundry. I like to make sure everything's folded in my closet, ready to go for the week. I kind of write down what I got to get done. And like you said, the Italian dinners on Sundays, like my reset for the week. I relax. Like yesterday, this week, I know you went out with your mom, but I was lazy all day. Like, and it's like, I almost get guilty with something. I'm like, you know what? Just relax.
No, but you need
it's
that.
Okay.
You can't feel guilty.
It's
because
okay. Yeah, exactly.
If you go hard during the week, then it's like Saturdays, Sundays are like, it's more validated that like you were able to enjoy it. Okay, what do you miss most about professional wrestling? Also, favorite submission. Ooh.
Your favorite submission?
So I didn't really have a submission move as like a finisher in my day. But I would say like when I would put someone in, a hold or submission, probably would be like the leg lock. I always liked.
The leg lock?
Like, yeah.
You got those big, strong legs.
Because I got those big, strong quads. And I used to I don't know, that was one of my favorites. But what I miss about professional wrestling the most? I would say, honestly, I probably just miss the like idea and that adrenaline rush of like walking out of the curtain and like
That's a good one.
Hearing the crowd, cheer or boo me, whatever. I miss that because that feeling obviously is it's hard to kind of emulate when you're not there. But yeah, I would say that. What do you miss the most about professional wrestling, babe?
I think that the moment your music hits and to feel and hear the fans' reaction.
Money goes.
But
Sabby had the best music, guys. We always talk about this.
Was really sick.
Wait, how about on our family vacation? I had this great idea to like start playing entrance music
by the pool
while everyone was like drinking, and the kids love it obviously because a lot of my nieces and nephews have seen me come out, whatever. And I had like 3 different music songs. But we started putting music on, and then like, oh my god, the kids coming out to the music. I was
Your
dying.
brother was pretty funny.
Matt was pretty funny.
So
Matt did Savvy's entrance, and it was really good.
It was good.
And then your brother popped out of nowhere. He did his old one. I was dying.
My brother was all excited. I was in the kitchen.
You were in the kitchen. He got up on the hot tub. He was like, he did a whole thing. I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah. But anyway,
loves that. No, I think that's the biggest thing is the interaction with the fans, man. Just knowing that you're playing a character that you're entertaining. And that's the fun part about it, right? You're entertaining them, and you're trying to throw twists at them because they think they know what's coming next, and stuff like that is really interaction with the fans is pretty cool.
For sure,
definitely a cool thing.
Definitely.
I got a question.
All right, you got one for me?
Go ahead, baby.
I have one for you actually.
Oh, you do.
What's your advice for someone trying to find motivation to get and stay in the gym consistently? This is a Sabby question, guys. If you follow his Instagram, you could probably get the answer.
Say it again, babe. Read it again.
What's your advice for someone trying to find motivation to get and stay in the gym consistently?
Yeah, see, the problem...
finding the motivation is sometimes hard.
The thing is, the finding motivation, I think, is different for everybody. And I've said this before. If you're having a problem getting self-motivated, find somebody or something to motivate you to be the best version of yourself. For instance, if you're a father of a child and you want to be the best shape for your child, right? Mm-hmm. You want to be an example for your child. Let your child be motivation. If you're trying to impress a woman, maybe you're trying to impress a girl and get her a date with her, and you want to be in the best shape of your life.
Yep.
I think finding self-motivation is something that everybody struggles with, but it's different for everybody. But my biggest advice to that is that's why motivation dies. I think you need to be disciplined.
Yeah, discipline is
I think for me, it's people ask me, what's the difference between, how do you stay in good shape? Is I'm not motivated anymore. I'm disciplined. I signed a contract with myself. So for me, the ability to break it is not on the table for me. Like I know I stay in a rhythm, and just like I wake up every day and brush my teeth, I know I'm going to the gym at a certain time. Monday through Friday. It's so regiment to me. That's just part of me waking up and going through my day. So if I had to give some advice to somebody out there is try to work out at the same time every day. If it's in the mornings, I recommend the mornings. But if you have to do it at night after work, just make sure you don't go home first and then come back out. Go from work to the gym. Have a routine to get to the gym, and make sure you go to the gym around the same time, because that will allow you to stay in a rhythm. And once you're in a rhythm of fitness, it just is a lot easier to get up every day and be motivated to work out.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I feel like that's such a big thing because people are always like, how do you stay motivated? And it's like, I think once you get into such a good pattern, it just becomes like everything else. Like the same thing you do every morning, like you said. you wake up, you brush your teeth, you have breakfast, whatever. Like you just make it into your routine. So it's like that's just what it is. It's not something different. Like, oh yes, I'm going to the gym and I'm gonna create a good sweat, whatever. It's like it's just part of your lifestyle.
Get to a point where you're almost uncomfortable if you didn't work out that day.
Oh, and we get like that 100%. Now. Yeah, for sure.
And don't get out of it. So
yep.
Babe, I got a good one for you. Actually, hold on.
What do you got?
I got a good one for you, babe. Ready? This one's from Mandy. It says, Mandy, how did your parents react when you first told them that you were going to pursue the fitness competition world and then professional wrestling?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
So
how did your parents react to that?
My parents reacted kind of the same for both. They didn't really know, like, typical Mandy though. I don't give a lot of information. I'm always I'm very short and sweet. Yep. I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do a show, fitness competition. Like, and of course, my dad the
shredder.
He's like bodybuilding. Huh? Like what? Like and then I'm like, yeah, bodybuilding. And then my mom, what do you think my mom's first reaction was? Which I love this reaction.
That's nice.
No, actually, it's more of like a typical woman that I get annoyed that women say this to. Oh, just don't get too big. Don't get too big. I hate that saying.
Why?
And oh my gosh, because it's so ignorant. Okay, from working out for so long, and obviously, so the misconception of a woman gaining muscle is that she's going to get too big. You're not going to get too big unless you're eating like what, a 300-pound man should be eating as far as protein. Like it's all relative of who you are as a person and how you're, how much you weigh and all the different things, your macros, all that. It's like, if not, all the muscle that I've built, I've never gotten too big. I've gotten smaller in areas that I want to be small in and, more defined and lean and more muscular definition in areas that I wanted to get into. Like, so I hate that saying.
Yeah, I think
that saying is so stupid.
I don't think they mean it like too
No, they don't.
big. Sometimes you hear them say like, they think by you saying don't get too big, they mean like don't get
too much muscle,
like muscle that looks manly.
Manly, I know.
Like, and that's the thing is like
never in my life have I looked manly since I've been working out the last 15 years.
Yeah, listen, you're right, but some that's
but they're talking about
some people you're gonna do bodybuilding, don't get too manly looking, right?
Well, that's the thing.
That's I've heard that saying before,
and that's why, to be honest, WBFF captured my eye at first because I liked the shows that they put on. I liked that it was very feminine and very much into like fashion and runway style. So that's what caught my eye and that's why I went to it. But yeah, at the beginning, of course, they were a little bit skeptical and was like, oh, they had their little misconceptions and questions. But then wrestling was a little bit different, obviously. I was very short again, and I said, hey, listen, I got picked for this reality show in Orlando. Right away, my dad, reality show, what? Well, you need to do that reality show shit. Because he obviously thought of right away, like Road Rules type, the whatever, all the crazy reality shows that are out there. Or Jersey Shore, So I was like, no, it's like actually for WWE. If we win, we get a contract. It's like kind of like a competition show. And he's like, okay. He's like, but you got to be careful. And then my mom was just very nervous about getting hurt. Always, still to this day. I guess I played a good, character though, because every time I'd come home from back in Fort Lauderdale, she'd be like, your shoulder. Like, are you sure you're okay? And she's still convinced to this day when I got kicked in the throat that one time, like when I lose my voice sometimes, she's like, I really think that time you got kicked in the throat, it messed up something in your vocal cords.
It's a good job by you.
And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, I think they were very skeptical, and obviously now they understand and they're very proud of me. But I think in the beginning it was a little difficult for them to grasp.
Yeah, because they're both. I mean, both those are very. How do you say it? They're very. It's a goal that you're setting that are very high.
Yeah,
right? And they don't want to see their kids. They want to see their kids go after it and be ambitious and have goals and work for it. But sometimes it's scary because you're trying to accomplish things that are really hard to accomplish.
Right.
So I think as a parent, you have to support it and you're proud of it, but you're a little skeptical of it because you're a little nervous of what the outcome's going to be.
Right. And especially growing up in the town I grew up in, like, you go away to college is one thing, but I didn't go away to college. And then, me just traveling to Florida, like I'm going to be gone. If I make it, I'm going to be gone for 3 months. If I don't, I'll be back. So I think that was also another thing of like, well, you're going to Florida. Like, who are you staying with? You know, as a girl, my dad, obviously, daddy's little girl, was always very nervous of like what I'd be doing, and God forbid, you know, something ever happened to me, type of thing.
Well, and at this time, you never really left home at this time, huh?
No, I never did, because I didn't go away to school.
But I've always said, I'm still a firm believer on this. I think as a young man or a young woman growing up, going out of high school, going to college, I think there's a point where you really need to get outside your comfort zone and leave your nest, leave home, leave
even if you leave and come back.
Exactly. No, coming back is not a problem at all. I came back after 20 years. We have a house where I grew up, and there's nothing wrong with coming back at all.
Yeah.
But I really do believe as a man that you need to go out and kind of spread your wings, per se, a little bit, test the waters. You know, like it or don't like it. There's nothing wrong with coming back home. There's nothing wrong with staying out where you're at. Just the experience and living life and seeing that there is more than the world other than where you grew up. Because we kind of get, as we grow up, we all do this as a kid. We think that's the only thing out there because that's how we grew up, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, no.
You don't know anything.
You don't know anything else. So, I mean, I admire that you had the courage and the confidence to leave a small town like Yorktown and go all the way to Orlando, Florida for a reality TV show. That's pretty impressive.
Do you remember my first apartment?
Your first studio?
You didn't like know me then, obviously, but I think I've told you the story, right? My first apartment.
You moved out like one day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know you then.
You didn't know me then.
I knew when you went to the
yeah, but I think I've told you about it, obviously. But like my first apartment when I moved to Orlando, guys, when like this is after Tough Enough, and I like got a contract and was starting Total Divas, but I kept thinking like, okay, I don't need anything crazy because I'm never gonna be home. I'm traveling to Raw and SmackDown for Total Divas, and I'm coming back to train, whatever. It was so bad, my first. It wasn't bad, but it was the location of it. Like the stairs going up was right off that main, whatever that street was, kind of like by Full Sail, I feel like, whatever that was. Colonial? Was that Colonial? I don't remember.
Yeah, Colonial.
Anyway, and I was like, the first day I remember like I was bringing some bags up and I was getting like people were honking their horns in the car. They could see me, not because they knew who I was, but obviously just I'm hot girl.
Did you stay there one night or no?
Nope. I don't even think I stayed there one night. I think I stayed with someone. I think I went. I don't remember what happened, but I don't even think I got.
Moving. I remember you told me.
My ex drove my car with all my stuff too down there. But when he got there, he was like, absolutely not. He like put the trust in me that I was going to find, which I thought it was a decent spot. It wasn't bad. It was part of Baldwin Park.
Really? Because Baldwin Park's nice.
I know
in Orlando.
It's nice. It wasn't like our last one. It was like I forget what they're called. It was just a bad spot. Anyway, that was short lived. Then I was like, I'm going to go to a high rise, I think.
No, then
and then I was like, Baldwin.
That one was nice.
That was nice.
I remember going out, they had a nice pool. Yeah, the pool.
That one, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Good old Orlando days.
Nice. No, not good Orlando days.
Sabby doesn't have.
I hate Orlando.
That great of an Orlando experience, guys.
And I had a nice house, lived in a nice brand new neighborhood. I just couldn't connect over there. I couldn't connect.
Not connect.
The vibe, I don't know. It was weird. I really hated it.
You were not a fan of Orlando. But I think it just goes to show, and this is what people, I think, struggle with too, is that it's all related to what's going on in your life. And if you're like not really happy where you are,
absolutely,
you're not going to find happiness with everything else.
100%.
You're not going to find happiness in your relationship. You're going to end up being, getting around the wrong crowd of people, whatever it may be. And it's like, and that happened to you, but in a sense of like, that was not your cup of tea.
No, it wasn't. And I remember that part of my life, I was not in a good place mentally with a lot of things in my life. But like you said, like I said, I always preach, never give up. You got to wake up every day and grind. And I'm glad I did, because I feel like it's where I'm at. Where I'm at today. For sure. And it's through those hard times that give you these good times. So,
which kind of brings up this question that I had for you that someone asked, but it's really related to this. So basically, it said in a past interview, you mentioned like the struggle of transitioning from playing in front of 80,000 people in NFL to setting up rings for hundreds of people in NXT. Maybe, if that, sometimes.
Yep.
What was the most challenging aspect of that mental shift, and how did you overcome it?
That's a great question. Oh my gosh. And I spoke about this before. That was the most humbling experience of my entire life. And I think for me, that I had to put a lot of trust in God's plan at that point. I had to understand that God had a bigger plan for me, because it was humbling. I went from playing in front of 80,000 people, getting escorted to my car, my jersey being sold in Tampa, to setting up rings.
Then old Fort Pierce.
Setting up rings for about 125, 130 people at one point. And it was humbling.
What about Ocala?
But
Guys, Ocala was quite the venue.
But for me, it was such a learning experience because it really did humble me. But it also, what kept me so motivated was I was self-motivated to be somebody in the industry because they said I had potential. They loved my character. They loved how I carried myself. So I had guys like Dusty Rhodes, Scott Hall pull me aside and tell me that they thought I had something special. So that kept me motivated through the tough times. But I think if I wasn't so self-motivated, I probably would have left because I was very, like I said, unhappy. It was, I was setting up rings on a Friday and Saturday night, for like 300 people.
You did the lights really well. I don't know why, but Daria and I always talk about how we just picture Sabby doing, you were on lights.
Oh,
Sabby would do the lights, set up the lights for the ring.
Oh, but I told you this before, and I said this on a podcast before, and I think I told you this before. When I was struggling, when I couldn't get back in the NFL, and it was a rough time in my life. I was in my prime, best shape of my life. I couldn't get back in. I didn't understand it. I kept hearing a saying that God kept throwing right in front of me, and the saying was, "He who humbles himself will be exalted, but he who exalts himself will be humbled." And for some reason, that saying of humble yourself kept getting thrown in my face, and I'm like, okay, God, you're telling me something, right? So for me to take that WWE contract and move to Orlando and learn how to wrestle from scratch, 'cause I know how to do it, that was about as humbling as it gets because I'm starting at the bottom. I knew nothing. I knew nobody. And I had nothing in common with anybody that was in the school because they're young, never made any money, trying to make a name for themselves. They never had any kind of success yet.
Yeah.
So for me, there was zero connection. I was a guy who made millions of dollars already. I was fortunate to make millions of dollars, be a second-round draft pick, start in the NFL. Got that taken from me. So I really had to humble myself. So I guess my advice would be to anybody out there is always stay humble.
Yep.
Always stay grounded.
You were put in a position too where other talent, maybe didn't like you either because who's
Nobody
this guy that was in the NFL is coming here going to steal my spot.
I had no friends.
But I will say.
No friends.
No friends, but I was your friend. We became friends.
That's how we were friends first.
Yeah.
I know.
I felt bad for you.
You felt bad for me?
I watch him.
Felt bad for me.
I watch him, guys. I watched this good-looking stud, put up lights, and then he saw his first cockroach, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And then we had to clean the rings in NXT because there was a herpes outbreak, guys. I don't even know if everyone knows that one.
Please don't even talk about that.
I'm in the ring. Remember Daria had the
Ninja
Turtles thing on the vacuum. We made it. But this is the beautiful thing too is I get why they do this for most people as well is because there's always a bottom and you always have to work your way out. But things have changed a lot in WWE. I wonder because now they do a lot of the what's the program they do where they take the college athletes? It's called something. Whatever it's called. But now they're and they're getting a lot of celebrities or ex-athletes or this and that, and they're putting them in separate categories. Whereas when you first got asked to, it was from Canyon, the recruitment. They wanted me to start from the bottom. They wanted you to start from the bottom, but it was very different. I feel like it was very different. The NXT guys.
10 years ago,
they were these guys wanted to be wrestlers their whole entire, you had to start with all of them. It was a very different world. Now, different world. Yes. Now it's different the way, you know what I mean?
Like the Logan Paul's coming in now.
Yeah, it's so different.
It's totally different. No, it's if they had this kind of blueprint when I came in, I think I would have been pushed quick. But
you still would have had to train just like anyone.
It was such a what are you here for? You're here for the right reason. You gotta love the business.
I know.
This, and that.
There was so much etiquette. Even when I got there, that it was even me. They were like, oh, this girl's getting thrown in Total Divas, and she has a following, and I was able to do some of my little sponsored things in the beginning, and people didn't like that. So it was they just looked at you differently. So it's very different. Times have changed, of course, but it's a great humbling experience for you. And I think you say it best is you have to stay humble because you don't know what the end result's going to be at the end of the day too.
Absolutely.
And you always said, if you didn't go through there, you wouldn't have met me.
I would have met my beautiful wife. So I'm very grateful for all of it. And honestly, I look back now and God kept saying to me, you're not going anywhere because I wanted to go home. I wanted to quit. Not quit. I just wanted to be done with it. And he wouldn't let me. And I think his ultimate goal was finding you. And I'm very grateful for. So that's why you never give up, guys.
Never
if you're
give
listening,
up.
Never quit anything.
Yep, because you never know when it's gonna what the end goal is going to be.
So,
well, on that note, thank you guys for listening. We have, like we said before, keep an eye out. Sabby's going to be dropping something very exciting soon. Make sure you're following us both on social media. Sabby's, Sabby, what's your Instagram?
Sabatino P.
Sabatino
24.
P 24 and Mandy Sacs for me, to get all the updates. And yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.